coming out here.
Could be. Nami does get picked up there as well. So Nami, Jarvan, the next few picks. So, I mean, Invictus Gaming do have flexibility. That's one of the nice things about a champion like Jarvan. So I'm going to go straight back to Vayne, by the way. Picks
It
up.
worked out pretty well the first time once he got that armor and that, especially that Guardian Angel finished up.
Certainly did. And OMG, of course, considering their 4th pick overall now as well. And I think Renekton's going quite late here. Maybe OMG don't want it when they don't have access to Yorick. That would actually not surprise me too much. I think that's even possibly, I was going to say might be possibly true, but not going to be in this case at any rate here, as Renekton does get picked up as their 4th champion overall.
I just think Doran's shield on Renekton is just so strong base time. You're probably going to take the 21 defense, so you're going to have the block mastery, but that extra 8 damage blocked from the Doran shield plus 10 health regen, obviously more than you can get from, I believe, the same as a double rejuve beat in terms of regen. Even in a 1v2 situation where Renekton traditionally wasn't picked up because he could get bullied around in a 1v2, he can do quite happily in those situations, and he has that kill pressure when the jungler comes in, especially a skirmish jungler like Loveland's Lee Sin.
Invictus Gaming, though. Some really curious picks to round out this this draft here. They're looking at Kha'Zix and Karthus, and they locked them in. Now, Karthus, champion Papa Smith, it almost feels cursed in China, because whenever we've seen Karthus, just never really gotten off the ground.
Yeah, I mean, Karthus has been struggling to get into team fights. It's why a lot of teams in Korea have backed away from the Karthus picks, just because you often have to use your flash just to get in range of, dying and being able to abuse that passive in a team fight. Teams have gotten so much better with all the Karthus play we saw during OGN Spring and that period in play at disengaging from Karthus. And it's been very hard for teams with Karthus to engage in a team fight here. And of course, Illusion, it looks like he's going to be on the Jarvan, has great engage, but not much else engage-wise coming in Invictus Gaming. It's going to be hard to see how they can pick the fights they want here.
Yeah, and the last pick there as well, over on the OMG side, was... oh goodness, my memory actually just escaped me. That's embarrassing.
We'll get there.
We'll get there, as we see IG there on your screens. They need to win this game if they want to stay in this best of 3, of course. One of the things to note is that neither team is out of the qualifier if they lose here in this first round. It is double elimination, of course, but when we stay in the upper bracket, the easier your chances there up towards Worlds are better. And of course, once you move in towards the Grand Finals as well tomorrow, I believe, then that placement there definitely matters, because the first placing team overall in the qualifier goes straight through to the group stage instead of straight through past the group stage instead of having to hang out and play with some of the other teams in there. So kind of a free berth there into the secondary part of Worlds there instead. So we are going to kick off here. OMG versus IG. OMG 1-0 up here. Of course, they have swapped sides here, and Invictus Gaming they'd really like to just represent China at Worlds again and see if they can make it back.
As we load in here, page time. A lot on the line for Invictus Gaming. They have the first pick this time. The draft ostensibly has gone the way they wanted it to with that first pick. Let's see if they can arrest the momentum and pick up a win.
Last week, of course, for OMG, it was Lissandra there, and looks like Cool's actually going to be taking that one into the mid. We have seen Lissandra top here and there, but with going back on Renekton, no surprise to see Lissandra here again. Lissandra's kind of had an interesting history, it feels like, in the LPL, and we've seen a very strong control sort of mid laner, has great initiation, great TC, which is not something we often see from a lot of mid laners. I mean, Karthus, on the other hand, is basically all about damage, with maybe a wall of pain in there for a bit of CC coming out from Zatai. A little hit or miss in terms of Lissandra play, and I think one of the issues is that she doesn't feel quite like a big damage threat like some of the other mid laners kind of feel like. It's almost like you have 1.5 threats instead of 2. Oh, and actually, never mind, going to start the action early. Loveland kicks Illusion in the face, but no chasing there on either side.
Yeah, Lissandra obviously provides so much control, especially in the earlier game where her respectable early damage numbers, she doesn't have the best scaling, but her base numbers are fine, and the control she can provide as an AP champion who can be an initiator, like having an initiator from the AP mid side is always something that you just love to have. But in the late game, especially if once a QSS is picked up, a lot of her control in a team fight kind of gets mitigated by that item.
I think one of the things for me that's interesting about Lissandra is that she very much seems to be an aggressive sort of controlled mid. You don't really see a lot of defensive play from Lissandra. I mean, she has some slows. If you position her ultimate correctly, then you can definitely create a nice slowing field. So you have the ability to control, but when you think about CC-based mids, you usually think of them playing on offense and defense quite well. Well, Lissandra is kind of definitely more on the aggressive end of the spectrum here. So we'll see. It could cost them against this Karthus here, potentially, if they want to go a little too far deep. But be curious to see how OMG kind of pick these fights here, because Lissandra's definitely had about an even win percentage in the LPL.
I mean, you look at the Invictus Gaming side, PDD on that damage assassin. This is, of course, his 3.10. The rework on Kha'Zix was a long time ago, which means that all of his assassination potential is around his Q, you know, maxing that Q ability, evolving it, getting into melee range to assassinate. Don't have that same AoE poke ability. Against the Lissandra ultimate, obviously that locking him in place, that's an option they have to shut him down here. And Karthus, we already said that engage-wise, it's pretty much all on Jarvan, and you know maybe a Nami tidal wave follow-up to engage here. So a lot of work for Jarvan, and then having the Lissandra to disengage, having the Lee Sin to disengage, having the Sona ultimate disengage, engaging those fights for Invictus Gaming. They've got Karthus, they've got a team fight comp here for sure, but how are they going to engage those fights?
Well, they're going to start with some nice landing here. IG going to be very, very happy that two people showed up to the top lane. They did move their dual lane up there, so PDD is going to get what he wants. He's going to get the 1v1 as Kha'Zix first Renekton, and this is a great lane for Caitlyn and Nami here as well. I mean, Nami and Sona, kind of interesting in terms of their landing power as support. Sona, I think, a little bit better in terms of early landing phase, where we think of Nami a lot like Janna, who's just got some great late game team fight sort of potential. But Caitlyn often bullies you around a vein, especially in the early levels. You expect that to be the case. So Invictus Gaming will be happy how the early game is matching up here in terms of lanes.
And PDD here on Kha'Zix actually very low, has to back away at level 1. He went for the Doran's Blade start, so he's gone for lane bullying potential. He would have hated a 1v2 with just that Doran's Blade and no sort of regen coming out. But still, didn't like that first trade with Going, clearly.
Yeah, Illusion actually going to move down towards the bottom now. Going actually going to back off. Knowing that Kha'Zix is shopped, he's going to maybe do some shopping himself. Maybe he needs a ward. Maybe he wants a couple of extra potions. And Cool here in the mid is pushing Zatai nice and early on as well. So Illusion and Loveland both now with double buffs on their respective junglers. Loveland actually going to move into take this camp away here. He's going to counter jungle these wolves. That's one of the things about Loveland, you know, for all the ganking we've often seen in the Chinese scene, you know, it's kind of famously at this point underwatered, and especially in the early game. Loveland really just seems to like to fight the other jungler rather than gank the lanes necessarily, where Illusion, I think, is definitely on the ganking end of things.
Definitely. He's all about picking a champion that duels and skirmishes better than the opponent and trying to abuse that by invading and drawing out those 2v2 situations he's picked for.
Of course, if Loveland can find a good place to ward in, he's going to go in now. And Shasha could be in trouble. The bubble will get skipped there. A great move in there and very, very nice first blood from Sun. Just enough damage there. Condemn, you know, not quite moving Nami into a wall, but plenty of damage with that double buff level 4 Lee Sin. Dodging the Aqua Prison out there, moving back in with the Q, and the exhaust in there as well to clean up first blood for Sun.
Yeah, smooth moves there, dodging that Aqua Prison there. That probably would have slowed down that kill and allowed Sona to get into turret. So it allowed Nami to get into turret range there. So lovely play from Loveland to pick up that early advantage up top, and it gets the Vayne snowball started.
Illusion rotating down towards the bottom there, just clears out the ward that's been put down by Going. Looking for a gank, but Going kind of got the lane where he likes it in the middle. So not too unhappy with how this is going. And Invictus Gaming apparently, I assume they would have liked their lanes when they started, but after that gank up in the top lane and Kha'Zix being moved out early, do not like it anymore apparently. So they're going to move two people down the bottom up against Renekton in that 2v1, and PDD is going to be back in a 1v2 up against Vayne and Sona.
I mean, the Kha'Zix versus Renekton matchup, you know, reminds you of similar matchups, you know, other melee DPS matchups like Jax versus Renekton, in that if that first trade doesn't go so well, you're really struggling for, Cool might be caught here.
He's going to pop himself over with the E though, and Illusion not going to be able to catch him off there. Unfortunately, Zatai not in position to Karthus to contribute to the gank.
But you just have to think there that, you know, PDD went for the Doran's Blade start, you know, much akin to a Red Pot start, wanted to go for that early advantage over Renekton and try and snowball that lane, but it clearly didn't work out.
And as such, IG just going to move things around. Kid going to maybe go for some fast push here. Going, looking a little frisky there. Dices himself out of the way. Loveland down towards the bottom, just pressuring here. And looks like they're just going to try and make sure they have vision over Dragon here. In fact, Sona's in the mid lane right now. Coma is apparently on holiday. Decides to let Lissandra go back. OMG going to move in towards the mid now as well. Illusion going to pop himself over towards the Wraiths, and Loveland just going to continue to be aggressive, puts down a ward, spots Illusion off to the side there, in towards that camp, and just going to be around, you know, making sure the lanes stay pushed out. And OMG really a team that likes to kind of put waves where they want them to be, and it's usually pretty aggressively towards the enemy turret.
They're just trying to work. I guess Going's happy with this Kha'Zix matchup here. He's going to rotate all the way from bot to top.
Yeah, they're going to rotate the duo lane back down as well. I thought maybe they were looking for a 5-man early dragon there, but with going up towards the top, looks like they are going to give that a miss at least for now here. And PDD, he's pretty significantly far behind in CS early on here. He's about 10 behind now. He's about 15 to 20 behind earlier. I mean, Cloth Armor, Doran's shield up here for Going. Nothing he really has to worry about up against Kha'Zix, and level 5 to level 4 as well. Almost level 6 for this Renekton. Yeah, he's very, very comfortable.
And if they can keep tabs on Illusion here, Gogolian can basically deny Kha'Zix from last hits here just because any time he comes into melee range to auto attack, he's going to eat that Ruthless Predator and a damage trade that he just can't sustain.
Lovely going to start up Dragon now as well, so OMG like their chances of the 4-man here. There's a ward in the back though for IG. Lovely thinking about some sort of almost solo. Looks like maybe just trying to bait out, see if there are wards out. Gonna move in.
Momentum's backing up though, you can see here on the minimap page turn.
Yep, nice movement there from Going. OMG gonna move in as 3. Cool actually. Spots off Illusion. And there's Going as well, running defense. Really, really nice movement here. Xiao looking to go in, tries to find the Aquabus and hits onto Coma. Cool though. We'll actually pop the ultimate there into Xiao, and there's a kill for Loveland. The Dragon low in there as well. Going. He's actually popped his ultimate, running into the rest of the team. And Illusion, we're gonna have a smart wall. He will pick it up there and get the Dragon for his teams. The tie very low in there as well. So Going picks up that kill, and Jarvan going down there as well. It's like Coma gonna get protected here. No real damage done there with that ultimate, and 3 kills there picked up for OMG. So IG, they get the Dragon as Illusion smites it away, but OMG will be very happy with that trade.
Absolutely. If it was 2 kills, then you'd probably be happy with that trade as an IG fan, but 3 kills definitely pushes it more into OMG's favor.
One too many. A nice movement there from Cool with that Lissandra, kind of doing one of the things that we said Lissandra's good at, initiating aggressively from the AP mid position. In fact, Kid here has to be careful. You know that Cool was thinking about jumping on top of Caitlyn there, but just kind of baiting him away, throwing out that E. And looks like down the bottom, OMG going to work on this tower one more time. Here, PDD found himself back in the lane I think he likes a little more. He wasn't really having fun in any of the lanes here, and that's unfortunately for PDD in the start of his first 2 games here. That's kind of been the story for him. He's not had any fun at all in his lane.
I mean, it's such an aggressive pickup going with that Kha'Zix here, just because Kha'Zix's laning phase in an off lane, away from mid, away from a matchup where he can potentially all in at level 2 or 3 with a red pot, especially now that, you don't evolve those spikes and have massive wave clear. It's quite difficult to lane Kha'Zix now, and he went for the Doran's Blade start. He went all in for an assassination early, and that did not work out for him.
And as it is, just items being picked up left and right here. OMG, about 1,000 gold in the lead right now. That Dragon definitely keeping IG afloat in terms of total gold, so again, they'll be happy that Illusion managed to pick that up. He's going to move down towards the bottom as well, maybe pressure, relieve some of the problems PDD's having down the bottom on Kha'Zix. And that blue buff, Lissandra there as well, really pushing that Karthus in. In fact, the farm just generally looking quite good for OMG across the board. And Loveland can actually spot Xiao. Q should be coming through there, very nicely led. And Xiao actually flashes there away from Loveland. Wow, that is a very scared Nami.
And translating the pressure they've done, blue buff still coming out there for Loveland. It's going to keep the tie further and further
in trouble there, son. Moving forward there with a fine Lauer. Actually pops his Void Assault there, flashes as well. And IG, very, very scared of OMG right now. This is his last few fights. This is a little advantage they've gotten here. Now Xiao in trouble in the top lane. Ruthless Predator will be moving in there. In fact, they're chasing onto Kid. That should be a kill there onto Nami. Although Xiao's making a run for it here. Will likely go down here. Loveland's probably going to find the Q, although you can see Xiao juking pretty nicely back and forth here. But very importantly, protected that Caitlyn there as Loveland picks up that kill. So that was almost a double kill. If Going had picked up Nami, I think Loveland was moving in for the tower dive there into that Caitlyn. But Nami does run enough defense there to make sure Kid stays alive. And, that's nice support play there from Xiao, despite the death.
It's important to note that with the 5-0 lead here, OMG, they're nose ahead. 1.8k gold is not a big gold lead here, as they haven't got a global objective apart from the Dragon here. But it's important to note that Going's item threshold to be powerful and impactful in a team fight is much lower than PDD's on Kha'Zix. Yeah, Kha'Zix needs to build up that damage to be able to get the resets, to be able to get into a fight and get kills. Whereas Going, with that ultimate, he gets super tanky just from popping the ultimate, popping the Dominus. So it's kind of on PD to get ahead or better in this case. And he's gone for about as early an aggression build as you can here. 3 long swords coming out, but not quite that finished brutalizer just yet.
Loveland as well. He's been involved in every kill on the OMG side, and that's translated nicely. He had double buffs there when he was looking to do some ganks up towards the top. And level 7 as well on Lee Sin. Last time we saw him, in fact, still level 7. And just poor Nami at level 4. Not really able to do a whole lot there. So those are early levels for Loveland as well. Been kind of accelerated here in the early game, and that's been very nice for all the pressure that OMG have been looking to put out here. And IG, you can see, they're trying to get fun where they can, but they are not particularly interested in tangling with OMG at this early stage.
So Loveland, he has that Oracles now. It's important to note here, OMG have double Sightstone complete already. Makes complete sense, of course, with Lee Sin to pick up that Sightstone for the ward jumping potential, but a strong ganking jungler like Illusion's Jarvan is going to struggle against a very highly warded map coming out from OMG.
Sun, they're just missing Condemn into that little rock. Illusion, I think, has oracles of his own there. Maybe it's just the pink ward in the brush. It was, he clears that out. But a couple of members of OMG about to say hello.
They're coming for Illusion.
They really are, P2D. Kind of in trouble as well. It's 3v2, actually 5v2. Never mind, as the last few of OMG move in as well. Void Assault there for P2D. Illusion, I think he's going to be the one that gets killed. A great double crescendo there from Coma. And now going moving forward. Finds a stun in there. Cool moving in there as well. Don't need to use too many ultimates there for OMG. Managed to pick up that kill nice and cleanly. Probably going to fell the bottom turret here as well as they're kind of proxying between these two. I mean, Kids up the top getting a little bit of free farm, but OMG, they will get at least one objective here after that kill.
Absolutely. There's going to be so many wards on the map from OMG here with the double sight zone and the oracles clearing out wards that Jarvan is just not going to be able to have much of an impact this game page time, just sheerly from the fact that he's going to be tracked everywhere he moves.
And I think this is kind of a nice thing about how the differences between OMG styles in terms of Loveland playing Yorick and then playing a jungler like Lee Sin. This is definitely the faster version of how OMG like to play their games. You know, it's the same style, it's the same philosophy. You actually see Kid in the top lane there down the left-hand side. Looking to get that tower there on the top will likely pick it up, but a tier 2 falls down towards the bottom lane. And Kid at this point is basically sacking his structure, saying, I need more farm, give me some time.
And even though, you know, he's been in that lane all by himself here, look at the CS lead. Minuscule, just 1 or 2 CS ahead of San. And Caitlyn versus Vayne is similar to those other matchups. I remember famously, Double Lift was talking about Tristana lanes and saying that you'd never want Tristana to exit 3-all. We'd
Loveland moving in there, PDD could be in trouble, but a wall jump out, very aggressive Frozen Tomb though from Cooldo, moves in onto PDD, and that's an instant pop there for that Kha'Zix. 7-0 now in kills at OMG, and they're just racking up objectives. I mean, as I said, stylistically, very, very same sort of style here, but this is the supercharged version for OMG right now.
This is the OMG show match. This is showing all their new international fans. This is the speed they like to play at. This is the objective play they're known for. And Invictus Gaming, they have a long, long way to come back to in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the last few kills before weren't too bad. Now it's 7-0 and 4 for 1 in turrets. Not to mention, not the first dragon actually. Looks like they're going to even that up at 1-1, as Illusion did manage to smite that first one here. Don't think he's going to be able to contest this one, unfortunately, and OMG will continue stretching their gold lead. And it's pretty impressive already, about 6,000 between these two teams already at 14 minutes, or just under.
And look, I like the Kha'Zix pick just because, you know, PDD wants to make something happen. And he's, of course, IG always look best when he's playing a champion that can do that damage, an assassination champion like Kha'Zix. But they need to pull this game out late if they want to get their kind of hyper damage threats, the likes of Karthus and Kha'Zix in a position to win team fights here.
And you mentioned that it's often a good measure of how far ahead a team is when their supports are doing well. And you can see already Coma's got boots of mobility ready to go with just the Sightstone, so very aggressive there, even from the support player. And OMG, with the double Sightstone, as you mentioned, with the early oracles we saw in Loveland as well, just aggressively pushed through here and taken so much away from IG already. San actually looking at 1v1 P2D. Void Assault gets put down, but he has that pink ward there, and P2D going to leap out of the way. Flashes there as well, but San flashes out from under him. And when P2D can't find a 1v1 lane against an AD carry who's an assassin like Kha'Zix, you know he's having trouble.
And you know that's reminiscent of, we've almost always, through the last 4 to 5 weeks of the LPL, seen those Twitch versus Vayne AD carry matchups. And we always talk about the fact that Blade the Ruin King Vayne probably beats Blade the Ruin King Twitch, but whoever has the pink ward, you know, usually it's the support, but sometimes the AD carries pick up one. Picks up the lead there, now Illusion's in trouble.
Coma moving in, Loveland actually, ooh, that was funky. Kicked him back in, but he EQ'd out of the way. Loveland though, ward jumps to slow him down with the Tempest Cripple, and Cool's going to move in there. A great ultimate there and flash out, but Loveland still picks him up with the Q. And that was some very, very cute stuff there from Illusion, but still managed to get picked up there by OMG as Kids here trying to run defense, poking where he can as Caitlyn. Cool moving to tie through there as well. Lysandra a little bit in the way there, but Frozen Tomb will get thrown down there. Exhausto moves in as well. Azonia's all ready for Cool though. And IG, I don't think they expected that. There's a mass slow from Eyeshard coming in. IG going to get themselves another kill there. In fact, 2 kills for Renekton. Sorry, it's OMG pick up kills on IG there. Nami goes down and Zatai gets eaten by going there as well. And saw Loveland very cutely jumping his way out towards Caitlyn out of that defile from Karthus, sorry. Managed to get himself out of the way. And Invictus Gaming, you know, they really contested OMG in the first game here, but game 2 is an absolute train wreck so far in the early game.
Definitely OMG with that Lee Sin pick. You know, we've seen Yorick on Loveland there. He's been able to bully out Lee Sins in the enemy jungle, but when he actually gets the Lee Sin, the amount of pressure he's able to put out just as strong.
And it's just Global Gold is converting into massive, massive advantages already. You heard my surprise at the Zhonya's that Lissandra had already finished up. I imagine IG were just as, if not more, surprised by that. I mean, the early items here, going with a Sunfire Cape to go along with his Brutalizer. Blade of the Ruined King Zeal already finished up for Vayne as well. You know, Lee Sin doesn't have too much, but he has exactly what his team needs at this point. Boots of Mobility, a Sightstone, a Madras to help with the jungle clear, a Doran's that he had early on, and now another Oracle's up for Loveland as well.
And also Pink Ward's in the inventory here, and the issue here is that PDD on an assassin like Kha'Zix, you know, whenever you find someone isolated, someone split pushing like a Vayne, for example, you fancy yourself in a 1v1 there. But with that Pink Ward that San has picked up here, almost no way for PDD to win a skirmish against San.
No, not against Blade of the Ruined King Vayne here. I mean, kids...
2-level advantage for the AD carry as well.
Which is, I mean, PDD, he didn't have a great first game, but kind of managed to pick it up when the game slowed down a little. OMG not slowing down at all this game, and PDD has just had an atrocious time trying to pick up farm in the early game here. And OMG, they're not stopping here. This is a comp where that feels very much like the early school of League of Legends that we saw from them. You know, we said they kind of slowed it down. We're able to play, you know, maybe play a little bit more teamfight focus with Yoriko and Renekton, but here, it's just pick central right now. They've got Sona to get in with the picks, they've got Loveland. Even Renekton can get in with Ruthless Predator, and we've already seen the things that Lissandra can do initiation-wise as well. And this is OMG at, really, in their most comfortable position, I'd say. And another turret's going to fall here, 5 for 1 now from OMG on that front.
And Illusion, you know, he's struggled to be relevant this game. He had to pick up a counter Oracles because of the double Sightstone and Oracles that Loveland had picked up. But it's just holding his build back even further here. He's struggling to finish his Spirit Stone item by the 18-minute mark.
Yeah, and OMG just going to keep rotating through here. Going to look for another tower here. Sign actually, yeah, decides to tank that. Whatever.
Bit of style.
Bit of style. Going to move in towards this turret again. Loveland actually getting himself caught out here. PDD maybe likes his chances here, but Loveland's able to get out. Spotted there by the Demacian standard. As Sona just throws down a pink ward in that bush. I mean, they don't have a Caitlyn, but OMG are happy to go in here. The Taito off to the side looking for initiation. Going. Does get himself out though. Sun actually popped up there by the tidal wave, and IG almost desperation mode. It feels like a little there. That was, you know, kind of a Crowstorm level Nami ult that we were looking for Xiao Xiao there, just to try and get something going on. And OMG able to, with their highly mobile champions, I might add, just kind of walk out of that one and reset again for this siege on the tier 2.
It was definitely the Hail Mary play there.
Oh, Loveland could be in trouble. He's going to actually wall jump himself away. Probably should stop saying Lee Sin's going to be in trouble. Again, all the mobility from OMG, and it's the lead they have right now. It's very hard for IG to get anything done.
Yeah, Lee Sin in bad positions is a bit like when people are deciding whether they want to pick Heimerdinger in Champion Select. You got to just give him some time, give him some room to breathe so he can dash away.
And Loveland does manage to get out there. And OMG, again, they'll take this kind of slower push here. They don't need to go too crazy. I mean, Baron spawned a few minutes ago. Don't really have the damage to get in and do that. But they're just happy moving through, clearing out wards where they can, and just putting on pressure in every single lane. One of the nice things that OMG have been doing this game, split pushing very effectively. You can see Satai and Kid there, the 2 carries arguably, hanging out in mid. You know, just trying to get something done there, make sure that tower doesn't fall. And it's very low here, but Sun rotating down towards the bottom. He's going to start pushing here. I mean, everywhere OMG go, they've got pressure, and I think everyone except for maybe Sona at this point is either able to get out from under whoever the other laner is, or just kill them. I mean, Sun right now can duel anyone on IG.
Absolutely, and PDD doesn't have anywhere safely that he can just farm alone. You know, that he almost needs Xiao Xiao to babysit him as he tries to pick up some empty lane farm here, as he just struggles to complete any items. He's gone for a Kindle Gem here for a bit of cooldown reduction, but only a Brutalizer to show in terms of the damage department.
Loveland here sneaking away the red buff. Going to give that one off to Sun. Dragon's back up as well. I have to think OMG want to go in for it. There's Loveland going to start it off. Ben going to rotate down the side as well. Sun already pushed down the bottom lane here. Going up the top, just happily farming his own jungle here. Going to take away his own red buff and continue pushing out towards the top lane. OMG, just not a care in the world right now in this game. They've already almost 10,000 gold in the lead at just over 20 minutes. That is a big, big difference.
And although the blue minion wave have been pushing towards OMG, he's quite happy to just leave it do that, just because it's unsafe farming for someone like PDD or Kid to go top, just with how the lane matchups are going, just with how the lane movements of the minions are going, to go and pick up any empty lane farm. The further it is away from the IG base, the less likely that IG are going to be able to pick up any of that farm at all.
Yeah, and they can of course time it very nicely with their movement between the lanes. You saw them pick up the tier 2 turret in there in mid. I mean, they leave a wave there, no one can really walk through there. They can manipulate the other waves in the other 2 lanes, get some push going, and then maneuver up towards the other side of the map. In Illusion here, lucky to not get Lissandra. They're forced to flash once more there as Loveland looks for the resonating strike. I mean, IG are forced to stick together in big, big groups here, basically 3 to 5, and OMG are very comfortable to split pushing every lane. They're going to steal blue buff away here as well.
And OMG get to decide what IG get to farm base due time, and with a 10k gold lead at 20 minutes, they're completely running this game.
6-1 in turrets, 11-0 in kills so far. I mean,
Pink ward's coming out there, as you can see.
Shasha's trying to ward where he can. Ping onto Baron actually just happens there. So OMG looking to rotate up towards that, potentially going. Not too afraid here, but Illusion's moving in, so Renekton decides to back off a little. I mean, they've got plenty of oracles, they've got plenty of damage. If they want to force onto this Baron, they probably can. They are going to start it here.
The PDD backing at this point as well has gone to shop here, and going just the one-man deny crew here. They have no vision whatsoever, and they can't get past the tanky crocodile.
And OMG don't even have the best Baron team right now. I mean, they've got just Vayne here with Static Shield, Blade of the Ruin King. Gogong's actually still going here. They pick up Baron though. Tidal Wave's going to move in though. Going still very tanky. Picks up a 1v3 kill there. Gets himself on Nami, and Illusion's moving in there as well. So Ty, they're dead as well. Assam picks that up. Requiem's going to get popped there, but no kills. Actually getting picked up. Both Coma and Cool very, very low after that Karthus ultimate.
2 kills in a 1v3 situation for that crocodile there, and PDD had to run evasive maneuvers and going back at full health.
And probably back at MVP for this game as well here after that play. 6-0-2 on Renekton. Not a care in the world on the crocodile. I mean, you got Baron buff in there as well when he started the 1v3, so made him even stronger. But that was pretty silly for OMG, and I think it really just tells how ahead they are in this game. You can see Loveland and going in and moving towards the top lane there. Vayne was in the mid, looking to do some pushing there as well, but I mean, OMG, they really can just do whatever they want here. Xiaoxia forced to back away. Sun actually aggressively flashing forward, but I think that's it. IG throwing the towel, and OMG, he got